Hello friends, this is Chandrakant and I must say Jai Shri Ram. And with this, let me welcome my friend from Ahmedabad, Advocate Nagesh Sood. Nagesh, welcome to Top Press.
Jai Shri Ram, thank you very much. CK, it's been real pleasure to be with you today, especially when we are, watching that the stone is being laid by the Honorable Prime Minister for Ram Temple. So it is a matter of celebration for all of us today. And yes, I'm very delighted to be here with you.
In fact, it's a very emotional day for most Indians, Nagesh, because I think all of us, many generations have fought this fight to rebuild the temple. It was already there for thousands of years. And as far as my history knowledge goes, the current temple was built by Vikramaditya. And before Vikramaditya, there was some other temple. So I think uh, this has been there, and it was destroyed in 1498 by the aggressors. And finally, after 200 years of legal battle, we are getting the foundation stone laid after almost like 500 years. So it is definitely a very joyous moment, and for most Indian, not only for Indians, but also for people from Cambodia, people from Indonesia, in fact, people from South Korea, because the South Korean population feels that they are descendants, they are the descendants of the side of Ma Sita, Ma Janki. So I think it's a very, very joyous moment for almost like 30 to 40% of the world. However, as I said, it was a long battle, almost 500 years. I think it is apparent to ask you what it means from the legal standpoint.
Well, CK, first of all, I'm going to share whatever the legal perspective or whatever the judgment of Ayodhya dispute is there, which is already in the public domain. So I would briefly tell the viewers as to what was this Ayodhya dispute about and how the Honorable Supreme Court decided the case. We all know that the final judgment of Ayodhya dispute was declared by the Honorable Apex Court on 9th of November 2019. The Honorable Supreme Court ordered the disputed land, which is about 277 acres, to be handed over to the trust to be created by Government of India to build the Ram Janmabhoomi, revered as the birthplace of Hindu deity Lord Rama temple. The court also ordered the government to give an alternative 5 acres of land in another place to Sunni Waqf board for the purpose of building a mosque. Now, if we look at the history, this was an appeal from the verdict of Allahabad High Court when the dispute started after the demolition of Babri Masjid by a political rally on 6th of December 1992. Subsequently, a land title case were lodged in Allahabad High Court, the verdict of which was pronounced on 30th of September 2010. In the judgment, the Honorable Judges of the Allahabad High Court ruled that the 277 acres of Ayodhya land be divided into 3 parts, with 1/3 going to Ram Lalla or infant Rama, represented by the Hindu Mahasabha, 1/3 going to the Sunni Waqf board, and the remaining 1/3 going to Nirmohi Akhada. The judgment affirmed that the disputed land was the birthplace of Lord Rama as per the faith and belief of the Hindus, and that the Babri Masjid was built after the demolition of Hindu temple, noting that it was not built in accordance with the tenets of Islam. In 1950, Gopal Singh Visharad filed a title suit with the Allahabad High Court seeking injunction to offer puja, worship at the disputed site. A similar suit was filed shortly after but later withdrawn by Paramhans Das of Ayodhya. In 1959, the Nirmohi Akhada, a Hindu religious institution, filed a third title suit seeking direction to hand over the charge of the disputed site, claiming to be its custodian. A fourth suit was filed by Sunni Waqf Board for declaration and possession of this site. The Honorable Allahabad High Court bench began hearing the case in 2002, which was completed in 2010, that is, after almost 8 years. After the Supreme Court dismissed a plea to defer the High Court verdict, on 30th September 2010, the High Court of Allahabad, that is the three judges bench of justices, Honorable Justices S.U. Khan, Justice Sudhir Agrawal and Justice D.V. Sharma, ruled that the disputed land be split into three parts, which I already said. The court also ruled that status quo be maintained for 3 months, and thereafter the Supreme Court held the final hearing on the case for about 2 months, that is from 6th of August 2019 to 16th of October 2019. And on 9th of November, the Honorable Supreme Court ordered the land to be handed over to a trust to build the Lord Rama temple. So it also ordered the government to give 5 acres of land to Sunni Waqf Board to build a mosque. So it was a unanimous decision given by the Honorable Apex Court, which could be summarized in the following terms. The court ordered the Government of India to create a trust to build the Ram temple and form a board of trustees within 3 months. Then the disputed land would be owned by the Government of India and subsequently would be transferred to the trust after its formation. The court further ordered that the entire disputed land of 2.77 acres be allocated for the construction of the temple, while an alternative piece of land of area of 5 acres be allocated to Sunni Waqf Board for the construction of mosque at a suitable place within Ayodhya. The court further ruled that the 2010 Allahabad High Court's decision, that is division of the disputed land, was incorrect. The court ruled that the demolition of Babri Masjid and the 1949 desecration of the Babri Masjid was in violation of law. The court then observed that archaeological evidence from the Archaeological Survey of India shows that the Babri Masjid was constructed on a structure whose architecture was distinctly indigenous and non-Islamic. The ruins of an ancient religious structure under an existing building do not always indicate that it was demolished by unfriendly powers. So it also held that it cannot be said that if a structure is beneath the now existing Babri Masjid was demolished by unfriendly powers. So the court observed that all 4 of the Janma Sakshis, that is biographies of first Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak Dev, state unambiguously and in detail that Guru Nanak made pilgrimage to Ayodhya and offered prayers in the Ram temple during 1510 to 1511 AD. The court also mentioned that a group of Nihang Sikhs performed puja in the mosque in 1857. Then the court said that Muslim parties, including Sunni Waqf Board, failed to establish exclusive possession of disputed land. It said that the Hindu parties furnished better evidence to prove that Hindus had worshipped continuously inside the mosque believing it to be the birthplace of Lord Rama. The court cited that iron railings set up in 1856-57 separated the inner courtyard of the mosque from the outer courtyard, and the Hindus were in exclusive possession of the courtyard. It further said that even before this, Hindus had access to the inner courtyard of the mosque. The court further ruled that the suit filed by Nirmohi Akhada could not be upheld and it had no shibet rights. That means they did not have the right to manage the idol. However, the court ruled that the Nirmohi Akhada should be given appropriate representation in the board of trustees. The court further rejected the claim made by Shia Waqf board against the Sunni Waqf board for the ownership of Babri Masjid. Thereafter, on 12th of December 2019, the Supreme Court dismissed all the 18 petitions seeking review of the verdict. And that is how CK today we see that the Lord Rama temple has been started to come up by the Honorable Prime Minister going, visiting Ayodhya and laying the foundation stone for building a massive, huge Lord Rama temple. So it is a matter of joy and pleasure for all of us to see this historic day happening after so many years.
Matter of joy indeed. There was a public movement for almost from 1498 till 200 years, and after that 200 years of legal battle finally got sorted. But the other party, which is the non-Hindu party, they fought nail and tooth, and they wanted to prove that the structure was a mosque. So my point as a layman, as a normal Indian, is that why did you destroy the temple in the first place? I mean, there was no fight at all. Yet there was such a long legal battle, and you explained all of that. But from the social angle, I think it was illogical to first destroy some temple which existed for thousands of years, and then you keep fighting for something which was built just day before. It was slightly illogical.
Well, CK, as I've just spoken about the judgment which has been in the public domain, the record shows that not necessarily the temple was demolished and on top of it the mosque was built. But as we all know, that in the mosque no prayers were being offered by Muslims, and this was barely a structure. Yes, we have to respect the belief of any religion. India being a secular state, yes, we have to, honor the beliefs and faith of all religions. And accordingly, for all these years, it was a legal battle which was fought in the court of law, and it was for the court to come to the conclusion as to what is the correct basis of the faith of different religions. So after appreciating the records and after appreciating the historical records, the court has finally found that this particular place belonged to Lord Rama, and therefore a temple has to be built. So, definitely you see the court had intervened, and the court must intervene to, come to a conclusion as to whenever there is a dispute. So I'm very happy that, a democratic process or a judicial process has been followed by majority of the believers of Lord Rama, to finally now today celebrate this moment. So in a democratic setup, we have to follow a procedure. So it has taken along 30 years or 50 years to have this battle in the court of law. But we would appreciate the patience and faith of people of India towards judiciary and towards the belief that one day we would finally build this temple at Ayodhya. So it is a matter of celebration for all Indians, in fact, and this verdict has been accepted by all religions, and it is a celebration for every one of us.
Certainly, and in fact, today is that day, joyous moment. In fact, if I remember correctly, I was a small boy when my grandparents also donated bricks and a lot of other building material, which is still lying in Ayodhya. So I think there are millions of Indians who had contributed to build this temple. That material is lying, and finally, after so many years, all this material which has come from all over the world, from Sri Lanka, from parts of India, from Nepal, will be used to build this grand temple. So we don't know how grand, how big it will be, but I think the sketchy information which is available, it is going to be 160 feet tall, will have 3 floors, and will have 5 domes. So, and it will be a huge temple. Uh, I think it will be rightly uh, created, rightly designed to give honor to the most famous personality of our history, because Lord Ram laid the foundation of a rule of law in the written history, and the Lord Ram has affected a lot of cultures, not only Indian cultures, but we can see stories in Afghanistan, in China, in Vietnam, in Thailand, you name a country. I mean, there are stories of Lord Ram in Indonesia, in Malaysia. In fact, the national symbols of Indonesia, being an Islamic country, are still related to the Hindu religion. So I think it is amazing. And I think if we don't have a temple which is as per the personality of Lord Ram, then we are not doing justice. So finally, justice has been done. We are going to have a grand temple at Ayodhya.
Absolutely, I agree with you. So it is a matter of joy, and I was watching the speeches of the Honorable Prime Minister and the Honorable Chief Minister of UP, and I could see tears in their eyes, and they were so emotional about the fact that today, after such a long battle and such a long historic kind of this fight, that they've been able to come today and celebrate this moment of laying the foundation of uh, the temple of Lord Rama. So indeed a very, very joyous moment, and I'm glad that we could talk about it today on this auspicious day. So it feels really good.
It is good. In fact, we have not deviated from our subject. It is, if you remember, Nagesh, we discussed about freedom to practice your own religion. So I think it is something like that, and in continuation of that. So thank you very much for giving clarity from legal standpoint, and let us celebrate. Let us meet again tomorrow with some other aspect of human right. But until then, Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. Thank you very much.